A flyer showed up on every pole by my train stop. Smiling face, big phone number, please help. I took a photo because I'm the kind of idiot who still thinks attention saves people. People walked past them like they were coupons. Half of them were already curling at the corners from rain. Same girl's face, same fake bright smile that made my stomach tighten because nobody smiles like that in a missing poster unless someone else picked the photo. I stopped at the third pole just to make sure it wasn't some ad campaign, and it wasn't. No QR code, no sponsor, just that number and the word help like it could mean anything. I texted the photo to my friend who's always watching true crime shit. She sent back a skull emoji and told me not to call. I laughed at her and still didn't call, which is its own kind of cowardice. I told myself I'd do it later. Like later is a place where problems go to die. On the train, I zoomed in on the phone number. The poster had been printed cheap, the ink bled, but the number was clean. Under it, in tiny letters I only noticed because my screen sharpened it, it said, "If you see this, you're already involved." I felt stupid for missing it at first. I felt worse because it worked. It hooked me. I stared at that line the whole ride home like it was talking right to me. At my building, I got stuck in a lobby because the new keypad hates wet fingers. The doorman was off, so it was just me and the security camera bubble over the mailboxes watching me fumble. I finally got in, grabbed my mail, rode up, and tried to shake the day off. I ate microwave noodles standing over the sink because sitting down felt too quiet. That night, I got a DM from a fresh account. "You saw her. You can help. No hello. No explanation. Just a link." I stared at it until my eyes hurt. The account had no posts, no followers, the default blank avatar. I typed, "Who is this?" and deleted it. I typed, "Call the cops," and deleted it. My thumb hovered over block like that would fix anything. My brain kept going back to that tiny line on the poster. Already involved, like it was a dare. I clicked because curiosity is a disease. The link opened a live stream. Grainy, green-tinted, like a baby monitor. A room with a mattress on the floor. A wall with tally marks. A cheap digital clock in the corner. The camera didn't move at first. It just stared. The kind of stare that makes you suddenly aware of how you look when you're alone in your apartment, when you scratch your face, when you pick at your lip. The clock read 11:42. It ticked over to 11:43 with that hard digital snap. The tallies on the wall weren't neat. Some were deep, like someone carved them with a key or a knife. Some were faint, like they tried to scrub them off and couldn't. My first thought was that it was fake. Some horror nerd live streaming a set. My second thought was worse. If it's fake, why did they pick me? Why not blast it on Reddit or wherever people beg for attention? I hit screen record. My hands were already doing things before I decided to. I took screenshots. I cranked my volume like I could hear something in the static. All I got was a low hum like a fan or a cheap heater, and then something that sounded like breath too close to a mic. Then the camera angle shifted, and I saw my own building lobby on another monitor inside the frame. Same tile pattern, same mailboxes, same stupid plant by the door. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't kind of similar. It was my lobby like it was a photo. The chip corner on mailbox 3B. The stupid motivational flyer our management taped up about package theft awareness. Even a smear on the glass door from where someone always pushes with their shoulder. My scalp went hot. I felt like my apartment walls got thin all at once. I got up so fast I knocked my chair over. I paced, then froze, then paced again. I shoved my curtains aside and looked down at the street like a lunatic. Nothing, just wet pavement and a couple cars parked like always. I tried to tell myself it could be old footage like someone filmed any random lobby, and my brain went, "No, they have the plant, you moron. They have your plant." I called the number on the poster. Straight to voicemail. No greeting, just that blank beep. I hung up and my phone immediately buzzed again. Same account, another message. "Don't call that. Call the other one." Like they'd been sitting there watching my screen. Like they could see my thumb press call. I felt my stomach drop into my knees. I threw my phone on the couch like it was going to bite me, then snatched it back because I needed it. I hated how fast I needed it. I called 911. My voice came out wrong, thin and loud. I tried to explain in one breath. Missing poster, DM, live stream, my lobby on their monitor, maybe someone in my building, maybe a kidnapping. The operator kept asking for my address like it was a form. I snapped it out. She asked if I could confirm there was an actual person in danger. I said I didn't know. That's the point. I don't fucking know, but my building is on the feed. She told me to stay inside my apartment and wait for officers. She said do not confront anyone. She said it like she'd said it 1,000 times to 1,000 people who ignored her. While she talked, I kept staring at the stream. The clock rolled forward. The hum kept going. The tallies sat there like teeth. Then, on the far edge of the frame, something moved. Not a person. A glow. Like another screen lighting up. The camera shifted again, slow, careful, like someone adjusting it with 2 fingers. Now I could see more of the room. A cheap folding chair. A black trash bag in the corner. A little pile of clothes on a mattress like someone had been there and got up fast. And on the desk, next to the monitor showing my lobby, another monitor showed a hallway I didn't recognize. Narrow, painted cinder block, a door with a number. The feed looked like security footage. My brain did the stupidest thing it could do. It decided this was solvable if I moved. Like if I got downstairs fast enough, I'd catch them. Like this was a crime show and not my actual life. I told the operator I was going to check my lobby. She told me not to. I said I'm already in the lobby on their screen. She repeated herself, firmer. I hung up mid-sentence. That's the part I'm ashamed of. Not because I was rude, because I acted like I could handle it. I grabbed my keys. I shoved my shoes on without socks. I took my pepper spray from the drawer and realized it was empty because I'd used it once on a dog that wasn't even attacking me. I took a kitchen knife, then put it back because I pictured myself dropping it and giving someone a free weapon. I left my lights on because I didn't think that far. I yanked my door open and ran for the stairs. My neighbor's door cracked open as I slammed past. She's an older lady who always complains about noise. She started to say my name. I didn't stop. She got mad, of course she did, and yelled after me to slow down. I barked back that someone was in our building, and she called me dramatic. I heard her lock her door like that was her whole contribution. The stairwell smelled like wet concrete and that stale trash smell that never leaves. My footsteps echoed hard. I gripped my keys between my fingers like an idiot movie trope and hated myself for it. Halfway down, I checked the stream again, running, almost tripped, and saw the monitor in that room had changed. My lobby feed zoomed in, tighter, pointed right at the entry door, like it was waiting for someone to come through. My throat went dry. I didn't know if it was real or bait, but my hands moved on their own. I screen recorded, called 911, and ran down to my lobby like I could outrun whatever was watching. I didn't call the second time to be responsible. I called because my brain wanted a witness. I wanted my panic on record. The operator answered and I blurted that I was downstairs now, that I was about to enter the lobby. She asked if I could go back up. I said no. She asked if I could see anyone. I said I didn't know. She told me officers were on the way. I clung to that like it meant they'd teleport. The lobby door at the bottom of the stairs stuck like it always does when it rains. I slammed my shoulder into it. The hinge squealed. The fluorescent lights flickered like they were thinking about dying. For a second, it was just the lobby. Quiet. Empty. Plant. Mailboxes. My reflection in the glass. That almost made it worse because it meant someone could be right outside and I wouldn't know until they wanted me to. Outside, a van sat across the street with the engine running. No plates on the back. A phone mounted on the dash, screen glowing. The van didn't speed off when it saw me. It rolled forward slow, like it wanted me to understand I'd been picked on purpose. My phone buzzed again from the same account. Good. You're awake now. I stood under the lobby lights shaking, realizing the missing person flyer wasn't a plea. It was a net, and I just stuck my head right through it. My keys felt heavier the second I picked them up. I'm imagining it heavier. One extra metal tooth clinking against the rest. I'd just come in from a nasty rain that turned the sidewalk into a shallow river, my shoes squeaking, my cuffs dark and wet. The elevator ride up felt like sitting in a dripping box. Somebody's dog shook off in the corner and mist hit my face, and the ceiling panel over the buttons had a brown water stain like the building was rotting from the inside. I stood at my sink and let the water run because my hands felt like street grime and metal. The water hammered the basin, and I kept glancing at the keyring like it was a live thing. When I shut the faucet off, the kitchen went quiet except for a slow drip from my sleeve onto the tile. I lifted the ring again and heard it, a cleaner, harder click mixed into my usual junky jingle. I dumped the whole ring on the counter and counted. Same keys, same tags, same scuff fob, plus a plain silver key with no scratches, no branding, no reason to exist. I stared at it until my eyes watered like that would make it make sense. My brain kept trying to file under normal. Maybe a store clerk dropped it in my bag, maybe it rode in on a wet sleeve, maybe I'm losing it. But it was on my ring, threaded under the split ring I have to fight with my nails. That doesn't happen by accident. I didn't ask the building. I didn't post. I tested it. Curiosity is a sickness. I walked to my door, leaving little water dots behind me, and slid that key into my deadbolt. No scrap, no resistance. It seated like it belonged. My stomach dropped so hard I grabbed the jamb. I turned a hair, felt the pins give, and yanked it out. I locked the door with my real key, then checked the frame like a damn idiot, hoping for a simple explanation taped to the wood. Instead, I found actual tape, a hair-thin strip of clear stuff stretched across the latch, torn clean in the middle, like somebody did that cheap "Are you home?" trick and came back later to see if it broke. The adhesive still looked wet. I peeled it off, and it squealed. I rubbed my thumb on the latch plate and felt gritty residue. My throat tasted like penny metal. My phone buzzed from a block number. "You carry too much junk." I stood there holding the extra key and my wet hoodie dripping down my spine, and I felt watched in the stupidest way, like someone had stood close enough to smell the rain on me. I didn't text back. I bagged the key in a Ziploc and ran downstairs. The lobby was a mess from the storm. Water pooled by the mats, and every time the door opened, a gust of wet air rolled in like a slap. A puddle spread under the little stand of free flyers, and the paper curled up like dead leaves. I slapped the bag on the front desk and demanded footage. The guy gave me that bored face and tried the "maybe it fell from someone else" routine. I told him it was on my ring and it fit my lock. He actually smirked like I was doing a bit, and that made my hands shake harder. He shrugged and started talking about cameras only covering entrances. I said, "Then pull the entrance. Show me who came in behind me. Show me anything." He kept throwing policy at me, like policy stops a person with a key. I pushed harder, louder, and he pushed back like my fear was an inconvenience he could manage with a script. I called him a useless asshole. He told me to watch my language. I told him to watch the cameras. I pushed hard enough that his chair scraped, and he stood up like he might throw me out, and for a second I thought, great, now I'm fighting the only witness I have. I told him someone had a key to my deadbolt, and he said it happens, people lose keys, people forget. That hit me like a slap because he wasn't just doubting me, he was rewriting it right in front of me. I told him call the manager. He said the manager isn't answering. I told him call security. He said he is security. I said fine, I'm calling the cops, and I'm telling them your building is handing out keys like candy. He disappeared into the back for a while, came out, and said he can't pull video without authorization, like the footage is sacred. I walked away before I did something stupid. Then I turned back and told him if anything happened to me, it was on him. He didn't even blink. I went back upstairs shaking, half rage, half fear, and both of them made me want to do something dumb just to feel in control. I checked my apartment fast, not carefully. Windows, closet, shower. I found nothing. Of course I found nothing. People who do this don't leave obvious mess. I looked for wet footprints anyway, like water would rat them out. The floor was clean except for my own drips. Then I noticed the kitchen faucet had started dripping even though I'd turned it off. One drop every few seconds. It hit the steel sink and made a sharp tick that synced up with my pulse. The toilet tank also kept refilling, that quiet hiss you don't notice until you're waiting for a noise that isn't plumbing. I tried tightening the faucet. It kept dripping, like the place wanted to remind me I wasn't alone in my own sound. That night, I killed the lights and sat on the couch with a kitchen knife on my thigh. Outside, rain kept slapping the glass. Inside, pipes groaned and sighed like the building was swallowing. I hated myself for every true crime joke I'd ever made. For every time I'd said changing locks is simple. For every time I'd acted like fear is something you can outsmart with a quick tip. I kept my phone in my hand, screen bright enough to hurt. Every drip became a countdown. Every radiator knock felt like a knuckle on my door. Around midnight, I thought about leaving. Then I pictured someone seeing me carry a bag down the hall, and that thought made me stay out of spite. Spite is stupid. At 2:41 a.m., the deadbolt turned from the outside, slow and confident. No rattling, no guessing. A clean turn like the hand knew the exact pressure. The sound cut through the rain, and the dripping and everything in me snapped. I launched off the couch and threw my whole weight into the door, shoulder first, and I screamed until my throat burned. I don't even remember the words, just noise. The lock stopped. Whoever it was didn't fight it. They backed off. I heard one soft step in the hall, then another, retreating like they had all the time in the world. That calm made me shake harder than if they'd kicked. I called 911 with my cheek pressed to the door like I could pin reality in place with my face. I told the dispatcher someone just tried my deadbolt. She asked if they got in. I said no, but I heard it. I felt it. It turned like they owned it. She told me to stay inside, like I had any other option. While I waited, I noticed something else. A thin line of water was seeping in under the door, not a flood, just a slow, steady creep. Hallway water. Someone's umbrella leak. Someone's mop, I don't know. It slid into my apartment like a finger. It made the wood swell and the air smell like wet carpet. It felt like the whole building was bleeding into my place. I stared at that little stream and thought, they're out there, close enough that their shoes could be in that water. 2 cops showed up, checked the hall, checked the stairwell, found nothing. They looked at the key in the bag, tried it, watched it turn, then went flat and practical. They told me to talk to management, change the lock, document everything. One of them floated the idea that maintenance mixed up keys. I asked him how maintenance threaded it onto my ring. He didn't have an answer, just that tired shrug people do when your fear isn't convenient. After they left, I threw towels down at the door and mopped up the water like it was my fault the hallway leaked. I wrung one towel out in the tub, and the water ran brown. I sat on the bathroom floor staring at that dirty runoff and felt this ugly realization settle in. Whoever did this can come close enough to leave me gifts, and the building will still call a maintenance issue. At dawn, the rain finally eased. The world outside looked washed and bright like nothing happened. I went downstairs again, and the desk acted like I was a nuisance. They wouldn't show footage. They wouldn't admit anyone could have cut a key. They wouldn't do shit unless something worse happened. I called a locksmith and paid money I didn't have. He swapped the cylinder that afternoon. Fresh keys. He told me to keep them separate, keep them close. His hands smelled like metal and wet gloves. He said the old lock was common, easy to copy if someone touched your keys even once, and that word once made my stomach twist. Even after he left, I kept hearing phantom turns in every click of plumbing, every drip, every elevator hiss. I left for a friend's place that night because I couldn't stand the idea of sleeping next to a door that had already been tested like a lockbox. I came back the next morning with my friend because I couldn't make myself walk that hallway alone. It still smelled like damp carpet. The baseboards still looked dark from the rain. I walked up to my door with my new keys clutched tight, telling myself I'd want around because the lock was different now. Then I looked down. In the morning, a new keychain lay on my doormat. Cheap plastic, my first name printed on it in neat block letters. He always offered to walk me to my car like it was manners. Always just making sure you're safe. He said it loud enough for other people to hear, like he wanted credit. It was 5:30, still light out, people in the lobby, and he'd still drift over with his keys out, asking where I parked, which train I took if I lived alone. If I said I was fine, he laughed and kept pace anyway. If I sped up, he sped up. If I stopped to pretend I got a text, he stopped too. He kept it right in that gray zone, where if I snapped, he could act like I was the crazy one, and he was the gentleman. On the floor, he did the same thing. Printer issues, a question he could have Googled, standing behind my chair like he was reading the air. He watched me type. He watched me swipe my badge. He watched the lock screen of my phone like it was a billboard. I started flipping my phone face down without thinking. I started taking calls in the stairwell. I started timing my bathroom trips so I didn't leave my desk when he hovered. People told me he was just friendly. I wanted to ask them why friendly always felt like a hand on the back of my neck. Then one day, I left my phone on my desk and came back to him hovering near it, pretending he was looking for a stapler. My screen was still lit. He smiled too quickly and backed away. I picked it up and my notes were open. My calendar had been scrolled. It looked like somebody had been hopping through my apps, fast and curious. I stood there with my mouth dry, and I did what people do when they're scared of being called dramatic. I swallowed it. I told myself maybe I'd left it that way. I told myself maybe my phone glitched. I told myself a lot of bullshit, because the alternative was admitting someone at work had put his hands on my life like it was his. That night, my Instagram got a login alert from a new device. Then my email. Then a password reset request from my bank. Someone wasn't just creeping. Someone was trying to get inside my life and lock the door behind me. The alerts hit one after another, like a fist on a door. I sat on my couch in my work, clothes, changing passwords until my fingers cramped. I turned on two-factor everywhere. I checked my recovery email, my phone number, my backup codes. I called my bank and froze what I could. I called my email provider and saw logins from a city I don't even fucking live in. The part that really got me wasn't even the bank. It was the feeling of someone sitting somewhere calm, taking his time, trying doors in my name, like I was already a place he decided to enter. The next morning, I walked into the office already pissed, already tired, and he acted normal. That made it worse. He asked how my night was, like we were co-workers with a joke between us. Later, in the garage, he tried the escort routine again, louder than usual, like he wanted witnesses for his nice guy act. People smiled at him. One guy actually nodded like, "What a gentleman." I stopped in the middle of the ramp and told him to stop following me. Flat voice, no smile. His face flashed irritation for half a second, then the mask slid back on. He put his hands up, offended, and said I was being paranoid, that he was just making sure. He made sure he said it so other people could hear. That's what he did. He built himself a little stage. I couldn't prove the phone thing, so I went looking for proof the only way I knew how, online. I changed everything again, made a burner account, and searched my own name like a creep would. I searched my name plus our company. I searched my name plus our building. I searched my handles. I scrolled through random comment threads until my eyes burned. That's where I found it. A private group link hidden behind cute emojis in a thread like it was a joke. I clicked it and got approved fast, like they didn't care who was watching. Inside were screenshots of me at work, taken from angles that made my skin crawl. Me bending for files. Me focused on my screen. Me leaving the building. Captions under each like ratings. A poll about which route I took to the train. A thread titled schedule with my shifts pasted in. Someone even argued about whether I grab coffee on Wednesdays. I recognized our lobby tiles, our elevator mirrors, the scuffed paint by the third floor stairwell. This wasn't some random internet creep. This was somebody inside. I tried a screenshot and a warning popped up that screenshots get logged. Of course it did. So I filmed my screen with my hand shaking, scrolling slow so the dates and username showed. I took photos of the monitor with another device like I was collecting evidence in a bad movie, except my stomach kept flipping and my throat kept tightening like I might throw up. The comments weren't love notes. They were casual, bored, cruel. People arguing about my body like they were picking a team. Someone posted a zoomed-in shot of my badge lanyard and joked about how easy it would be to follow me through the turnstiles. Someone posted a photo of me from behind and wrote a number like they were scoring a fucking dive. Every scroll made my skin feel wrong, like I want to take it off and scrub. The newest message was from him. Not flirty, not romantic, possessive and bored. She thinks she's private. I stared at that line until my eyes watered. I waited for my brain to offer an escape hatch. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was someone else. But it sat under a photo of me stepping out of the women's bathroom. I knew the sweater. I'd worn it yesterday. I took my phone straight to HR and then to the cops. I walked into HR with my coat still on, asked for a private room, and when they tried to schedule me later, I said no, not later. They put me in a glass conference room with stale candy on the table, and 2 HR people came in with notebooks like this was a performance issue. I slid my phone across and let the video play. Their faces changed in real time. One of them kept saying, "Okay," like she was trying to keep herself calm. The other asked if I'd somehow joined the group voluntarily, like maybe I'd wandered into my own stalking. That one pissed me off so bad I almost laughed. They asked if he'd ever touched me. They asked if he'd threatened me. They asked if I felt unsafe. I said yes, 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 and I told them about the phone on my desk and the login alerts and the walk to my car bullshit. One of them asked if I was sure it was him, and I felt something snap. I said his name was on the post, his face was on the profile, and he was the same guy who tracked my movements like it was a hobby. I told them to pull badge logs and camera footage right now, because if they investigated for a week and he got wind of it, I didn't trust what would disappear. They started talking about process and fairness and not jumping to conclusions, and I told them if they wanted to move slow, I'd move loud. I said I'd put it in writing. I said I'd add the company name to the police report. Their tone changed after that, like they finally remembered what the word liability means. At the police station, the desk officer started with the standard checklist, like he wanted it to fit in a tidy box. Did he send threats? Did he show up at my home? Did he touch me? I pointed at the schedule thread and the train route poll and said, "This is what it looks like before the headline." He stopped pushing after that. He took copies. He told me to save everything in 2 places. He told me to write down dates and times. He told me to vary my route home. Hearing that out loud made me feel sick because it meant he believed me enough to treat my life like something I had to defend. Back at work, the air changed. People smelled drama and acted like it was entertainment. A coworker told me I should just block him, like that's how you block a man who shares your elevator. Another coworker said he's always been nice to her. I told her nice isn't the same as safe, and she got offended, like my fear accused her. We argued by the copy room until someone walked past and pretended not to hear. HR suggested I work from home for my comfort, and I said no. I said I wasn't the one who needed to disappear, so everyone else could pretend the office was still clean. They pulled him into a meeting. He denied it with that smooth, fake confused face that makes you want to punch a wall. He acted like I was paranoid. He said he didn't know what group I meant. He said someone must be impersonating him. He said he didn't even have Instagram, which would have been funny if I wasn't shaking. HR repeated his denials back to me like they were neutral facts, like my fear and his lie deserved equal respect. Then IT pulled badge logs and caught him swiping into the building on his day off, right after I posted a story. Same times the screenshots were taken. They matched it to hallway footage too, him walking in like he belonged there, hood up, moving straight past the guard without even looking around. The IT guy who'd brushed me off the week before wouldn't meet my eyes when he handed HR the printouts. HR laid the timestamps out on the table, and suddenly nobody could hide behind miscommunication. When they confronted him with the logs, he didn't crumble. He didn't apologize. He leaned back like he was negotiating, annoyed he had to answer like he expected a slap on the wrist and a reset. He didn't look scared when they confronted him. He looked pissed like I'd ruined his hobby.